In this week's episode of the Wellness Empowerment Project, we dive into Reiki. We have a Holy Fire Reiki master named Sapphire who talks to us about how she found Reiki, actually, how Reiki found her, the principles of Reiki, what you can expect in a session. We also get into exploring new modalities that you either want to learn or that you want to experience, and finding credible training programs and certifications and what to seek out in a practitioner. It's a great conversation. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Wellness Empowerment Project. I'm Trish.
And I'm Julie. We are two nurses exploring holistic healing and wellness practices to empower you to be the leader of your own health. Join us as we try out new things, or as we call it, weird shit, and have some fun along the way.
Welcome to the Wellness Empowerment Project. Today, we are meeting with Sapphire, with a Holy Fire Reiki master and the owner of Devine Alignment. She's been diving into energy work for over 9 years and understanding herself and the intuitive gifts that she previously denied during her adolescent years. It was during pregnancy that she pushed into a time of rapid awakening. It was a catalyst to change and learning and moved her through a lot of trying times. She started to step away from working on the physical side and started to focus on emotional, mental, and spiritual health. After getting Reiki 1 and 2, practicing with herself and adapting to the principles, she actually started teaching Reiki in the park. And then she pushed to a brand new phase by learning the Reiki Holy Fire and is now a Reiki master. When she opened the doors of Devine Alignment, she started officially offering Reiki and has grown her business by offering community events as well as giving Reiki sessions to cancer survivors, and does multiple collaborations with other healers. Welcome, Sapphire.
Hello. Thank you for that.
Welcome, Sapphire. Can you tell our listeners, what is Reiki?
Reiki is a life force energy. Your body is already an energy body. And so Reiki is a gift that is from the higher realms in order for you to encompass within your body. It helps to move along blockages, bring along calmness, stress relief, and the body to become at ease, so that you can continue to function and move through the different lifestyles and trying times of life. It does require sometimes the laying of hands, and sometimes it can just be hovering over the body to work more on the spiritual side than on the physical side.
Do you mind telling us, how did you fall into Reiki, or how did Reiki find you?
Crazy enough, Reiki found me by literally dropping, instead of numbers, it was literally signs of Reiki everywhere. Like Reiki training, Reiki sign, just bunches of Reiki just kept on popping in. And I was like, maybe. And I decided to finally give it a go and just see what happens if I stepped into Reiki.
Did you experience it yourself at all before going into training? We're asking that because I think a lot of us just get these signs and we go into a training before actually even knowing a lot about the modality. We're curious if you had a similar experience.
Actually, I did have a very similar experience. I didn't know what the energy source was within my body. I knew there was a spiritual gift, but I didn't understand how to access it fully. I had conversations about Reiki, and every single time I attempted to book a session, something always happened. With that happening, I just decided to dive straight in, and I was like, you know what? It keeps on coming up. We're going with it. We're trusting our instincts.
So when you went with it, did that mean you dove right into training, or did you actually have a session where somebody did Reiki on you?
I actually went into learning a little bit more about the history on my own. Then I went into training, and then I redid my trainings again, this time with Holy Fire rather than just Usui Reiki 1 and 2.
What is Holy Fire Reiki as opposed to regular old Reiki?
Usui Reiki is what is believed to be the origins of the Japanese Reiki. And then Holy Fire is an upgrade from that. It is from one of the Ascended Masters that learned Usui Reiki, but then also got an opportunity to develop a new symbol and also learn more about how this symbol is incorporated with Usui Reiki in order to bring us to a higher elevation and bring us to a more loving state.
What do your sessions look like? You mentioned laying of hands, sometimes hovering your hands over a person's body. Consider somebody who's never experienced Reiki before. What does that, you talk about these different energy chakras. We may have some folks that aren't really clear as to what happens. What are you doing with your clients?
Everybody's Reiki sessions are a little bit different from practitioner to practitioner. However, during my sessions, I welcome everyone into their space. I start off by cleansing their energy, welcoming them to have a comfortable seat, and then allow them to start talking as I do their aura cleansing. Because then from their aura cleansing, I'm able to pick up where their main pain points are. From there, we have conversation for a little bit in order for them to start to unlock a little bit further into who they are. I start their session as we're sitting and talking. And doing that, I incorporate the distance healing sit. And then after a while, we start moving on to the table. Once we're on the table, they just start to lay down in a very serene, calm state. I bring them into a guided meditation in order to help them dive further into their astral realm, their dream state. And that's when, depending on how the person is feeling, if they're feeling anxious or if they're very comfortable and trustworthy of the Reiki session, I hover my hands over their body about 3 or 4 inches above their body to help energy move, starting off from the crown of their head and making my way down towards their ankles. If people do show signs of discomfort, pain, then I do place my hands over their body, physically on the body if they are okay with it, and help that energy to focus right on there. Sometimes bowls are incorporated, sometimes crystals are incorporated. It all depends on what a person's energy is really calling in.
When you hover your hands over somebody, what do you feel? Do you feel anything?
Yes, sometimes with people, I tend to feel like a pulse, like a vibrational pulse, as if you were looking at a YouTube video that shows the frequency. I can actually experience that and feel that while I'm also hovering over their bodies. There are times that I actually start to see certain pictures that are relevant to that person on the table. I can see how the energy is, whether it's balled up, whether it's super dense, or if it's more free flowing and how the transition is.
Does
You
pain feel different than other emotions or
surprisingly, I feel it. I experience pain on my physical body and I'm like, oh, okay, let me move back to that area. Sometimes the pain can also feel just very much more intense and powerful over that one specific area.
You mentioned before these symbols that you
Yes.
pull in and that you utilize. Just give us some information of what are these symbols? What was the origin of them? And how do you utilize them in a session?
The main symbol for Reiki is Rei and Ki. That is a symbol that was derived from Japanese kanjis. It is explaining that it's energy, it's a life force energy, and then from the spiritual realm coming into the physical realm. That one is designed, it's one that you'll see basically everywhere because it's a sacred symbol and at the same time it is a universal symbol. The other symbols that we have, those symbols you learn as you're going into Reiki 2. During Reiki 1, you usually just learn the main kanji for Reiki. Once you're in Reiki 2, you learn 3 other symbols, which are the one for power, the one for more of love and gentleness. The last one is for distance healing. The reason I choose not to show those symbols is because once you step into the practice, then I can introduce it to you and I can show it to you a little bit more. When you get into Holy Fire is a totally different symbol. At Master, you learn an additional symbol. As you go into different levels of Reiki, Master is okay, you're able to teach people and you're able to share whatever you've learned so far down. It also helps you to unlock the next level of Karuna Reiki. There's other lineages of Reiki, that you'll learn different symbols from. As of right now, I do not have any of those other additional lineages because they didn't call for me. Right now, I'm happy with where I am in Holy Fire until my next calling is made. Each symbol, when you walk into a session, you've already let me know where you are in your energy. That's when I'm able to pull in symbols. But a lot of it is very intuitive. If you're over the mind and the crown chakra, and it feels like there's so much happening up here, it feels like too much pressure for somebody who might walk in with anxiety, you might want to call in the loving and emotional symbol to bring the calmness down, kind of like a parent would hug a kid. If you have someone who's coming in with determination and they want to focus on their goals a little bit more and stay dedicated to their path, you might call in the power symbol. And that is going to be applied as you move through. If you wanted to do whole body healing, it's easier to even call in Holy Fire because Holy Fire is like a quartz crystal, it heals everything.
Sounds like then after you tap into someone's energy, you will call in a symbol, which is like an archetype, to
Mhm.
help with the healing process.
I activate it. I
Yeah.
activate that symbol in order for it to continue to work.
Okay. How would someone who's receiving Reiki feel a shift or know that it's working? You stated that you felt the pain, that you could feel these things. But if someone's receiving it, how are they going to know that this energy work is doing what we believe it's doing?
If you walk into the room or if you agree to be at a Reiki session, at an event that's offering Reiki, you are already giving your yes to Reiki. Reiki will provide that energy towards you. If you're hesitant on it or you're like, nope, don't want Reiki, that's fine. Reiki's just going to go around you because it's not going to welcome itself where it's not needed at that moment. If you're on my table or if you're in a Reiki session, a client may feel the tingling. They may feel like they're drifting off into a dream state or traveling through their dreams. They sometimes will see colors. They can see visions and they can also just feel complete relax and ease. Those are usually the signs that people inform me of what they feel and what they see. You have people who can also completely go under and feel like they blacked out and are like, whoa, what happened? That's their body completely coming into their conscious areas to be worked on. Once a session is over, I do check in with my clients to see where they are and what they've experienced to make sure that they are okay. I let them move back into our reality at their own pace. And I do check in with them in the sense that, are you feeling okay? Did you experience anything? Is there anything that came up emotionally that you want to talk about? Because sometimes those things do come up when the mind is suddenly quieted.
What I thought was really interesting is this brings in this whole other level, especially when you were talking about all these different lineages of how does someone who is maybe new to coming into more of these holistic modalities or healing modalities and is trying to explore it, how do you know even who to go to and who to trust? I think one of the big things we see that we have a lot of these different certifications, these different organizational bodies that say, okay, in nursing, you're licensed, you have a license to practice. And then you have different certifications that are almost like these specialties. But I think a lot of us see that over time, we're paying money into these organizations and we always don't feel like we're getting back anything but the chip telling you that you're okay. But then as we start to move out, especially with, I know personally, the realm of coaching, there is really no organizational body checking in on the integrity of people who are coaching. There's definitely certifications that are out there that can show that there's a knowledge base or someone's done this work, but it's definitely not universal. Especially now, if someone is now looking at Reiki or any of the other modalities, how can someone start to navigate that realm of moving from just, oh, they tell me that these people are good and this is the directory I go to, versus maybe that's not the best choice. And maybe we question that now.
So it's just like a loaded topic. The fact that there's the origins of where things actually started. When you decide that you're going into a modality, I do believe that you need to do your research before you step into things immediately. Take the time, learn about the different instructors that are out there, go and look up that instructor's name, go and look up where they got their teachings from, and if they connect back to the main source. For me, I go to the International Center for Reiki Training. I chose someone who is part of that organization. And I also made sure to choose someone that understood the principles of Reiki and then also had a lineage attached to where things originally started. Not everybody's Reiki lineage goes back. Everyone goes back to Usui because that's what we're supposed to be initiated from. However, not everyone lineage goes back to the same training center. With the training center that I work with, there are different steps. You can go to a licensed teacher, which is somebody who has been taught from the Ascended Master and the Ascended Masters from that person. And now they are all masters on a certified board. When you become certified by them, you're now considered a professional. If you are certified by somebody who's not a licensed teacher, and the licensed teacher program for the International Center of Reiki Training is very specific as who they choose. It's not open to everyone. And it is a actual process in order to become a licensed teacher. If you were to not go to a licensed teacher, then if you were to become attuned by somebody who is just an affiliate, you still have the same lineages as if you were to be part of the licensed teachers. However, it's now more of like they can practice and they can teach however they feel. Whereas a licensed teacher is going to teach exactly how the guidelines are for the International Center of Reiki Training. Does that make sense? When it comes to other lineages, I don't know the whole process to them. Some of them are, they have a criteria. And then there are some that are like, hey, you paid the money. Here you go. Here's your certificate. But it's up to the instructor to create the manual. It's up to the instructor to create the certificates. It's also up to the instructor to see how they follow up with that person. Can that person pay for their continuous membership? I'm sure they can, because the same thing with the International Center of Reiki Training. If you're just doing it because you want to just have your Reiki, you can continue to pay annually for the membership, which gives you the magazine so that you can continuously read on what the different things that are being offered. But it also allows you to be included in the realm of Reiki, depending on the level that you are on, at least with my organization. They also list you on the website if you're registered. You have to have your certificates submitted annually so that they can assure that you actually are certified and that you are able to be listed as a instructor or as a practitioner so that people can find you if you want to offer Reiki like that. I go the extra mile and I actually make sure that I am applying the principles for Reiki to my life on a daily basis, but not everybody does.
When you are looking for a Reiki practitioner, do you advise that people should be really looking at where those practitioners received their training and got their certifications so that they're providing a certain level of service?
I do suggest that. I do suggest that people go and they research rather than just do the, hey, I'm really in the mood for this right now. And this place is offering it for $197. That place is offering it for $500 or $700. I suggest that people really do that research and make sure that you're getting something that stands on its principles, that stands on what they're going to offer you, and also make sure that you're able to check in with it.
You also made note that you do a lot of work to make sure that you are applying the principles in your everyday life. I think with a lot of organizational structures, as you mentioned, we can just pay the money and have the membership. But you went a little bit deeper. How can we start to distinguish different practitioners that are truly embodying the principles of their work versus ones that maybe, oh, I have the certification, but may not be having that deep application into their everyday life?
Social media is very convincing nowadays. It's convincing to be able to show that you're living these principles and you're able to promote it. However, I believe that it's more intuitive if you actually get a chance to meet the instructor or have even a Zoom call See if they connect with you. Make sure that you're just not signing up for any old thing that comes across your screen. I tend to talk about the principles for Reiki quite often. If you come to my sessions, I'm sure I will bring them up at some point in time. And I make sure that these things are things that I practice because I could tell you the person I was 9 years ago did not have a sense of direction as much. The person I am now are two totally different people. I think it's extremely helpful to find an instructor and do your research for the certification, see where they come from, but also to check in with them and see how they present things to you, to see if they touch base on it. If you're already interested in Reiki, it might not be a bad thing for you to go and find a Reiki share, a Reiki circle. They are sometimes free, they're sometimes $10 so that you can go and experience it, but then you can also experience that instructor's energy. Most times, an instructor is willing to work with you on a payment plan if you feel like it's calling for you rather than you feel like you have to settle for something that's much cheaper if it doesn't feel aligned with you. Did you want me
What
to go over the Reiki principles?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what are the principles of Reiki?
So it's just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will be grateful. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. And just for today, I will be kind to every living thing. When I say you live by these, when you're getting that place of frustration, it's reminding yourself of that affirmation feeling of, for today, I will not be angry. Why? Because you're not allowing anybody else's energies to attach to you. You're not worrying about the task that seem difficult and overbearing. You're just worrying about where you are at this moment and like calling back your present now. You're doing your work honestly, meaning that you're not selling something that's false. You're not lying about how you're going to get there. You're just like, you know what? It's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to be so smooth sailing moving forward. We can hold on to anger. And when we hold on to anger, sometimes we can physically or emotionally harm others or other living things. When we let go of that anger, we're no longer giving the ill intent. Everything is done with a pure intention. I'm purely here to help you. I'm purely here to provide you with the guide. At the end of the day, you're just grateful for being alive. You're grateful for being who you are. You're grateful for what you have. You're not seeking more because the universe is always going to give it back what you need.
That sounds almost like a prayer or a mantra that you could have every day that would be so helpful. Is that something that you'd incorporated, almost like a mantra to shift? You mentioned you're a very different person today than you were 9 years ago. Was that one of the first things that you started to incorporate into your life as you learned Reiki to shift yourself to a place of peace or fulfillment?
Yes, it is a big part of the shift of that energy. Further back than 9 years, back when I was in high school, I held on to a lot of anger, frustration, disappointment. I never felt like I was appreciated for what I was offering. And that all bottled up. Teenage years, all the hormones, emotions. I was like a fiery firecracker. That transitioned all the way until my early 20s. It wasn't until I literally became pregnant that I had this aha moment of, oh, we need to change things, not because you're becoming a mom, but because this isn't doing anything for you. You're just holding on to the resentment for so many things without having to work too hard. Like those Reiki principles, the 5 pillars, literally just were, this is so easy. This makes complete sense. For the first couple months to a year, it was for today. I will not be angry just for today. I will not worry about anything else. And it was a constant reminder in like little bits and pieces. Then it was like, oh, full puzzle put together and understanding. It's posted in my office in two different places. It's posted in my room. It's on my phone in case I need to call it back in because I think it's so important. Like you said before, it is like a mantra, like a prayer to constantly check in with your whole body, check in with your whole spirit and your whole mind.
I really see, especially when you're wanting to dive into the different modalities, the exploration of that journey to find either a modality or a practitioner in itself, I feel like can start that process because you're really taking the time to find someone who has integrity You really want someone that is embodying the process, embodying the lineage, embodying the structures that are in place, as well as someone that you can truly trust. I think that was a really big piece of everything that you talked about, which is not just accepting the practitioner that's right in front of you, not just accepting the one or two things that you're seeing, but actually taking that time to investigate and see who has the integrity and who is embodying the practices and who do you feel like you're truly trusting and who really, I think, aligns and who is best for you.
Yeah, those things are all extremely important. And it's also extremely important to know who your teacher is, not just for the training, but because at the end of the day, they're going to be the person that's mentoring you. They're going to be the person you check in with. Even if it's a silly question to you, they might have the answer to your silly question. If you feel lost at any point in time, I've gotten off of my spiritual path and I felt lost for a good couple months. I had to check in with my teacher, not because I'm required to, but because she was a safe person for me. She reminded me of certain aspects in order to jump back on or find myself back slowly as I needed. I check in with her quite often. I have no problem checking in with her. I also check in with other instructors that are knowledgeable that I've worked with, and they are your guide. So finding the right person and the right sources are extremely important because at the end of the day, they're going to be your guides, your mentors to constantly go back to. If you're unsure about things, you have that person to at least go back and redirect you or send you to somebody else who they trust who's going to guide you where you need to be.
I think that relationship that you are speaking about, either through your mentors or your trainers, or when you start to link up with a practitioner, is really the critical piece to whether or not you're going to move forward with these types of trainings or modalities. And you're right, there's so much out there on social media that is like a flash in the pan. And whoever has the best marketing can pull you in. I've been a victim of that myself. Oh, that looks really interesting. And I'd start to look into, is this something that I would like to learn about? And when you dig into it, you're like, hmm, this doesn't look like it's as in depth as a program that I would want to invest in. I see that a lot with trying to learn different modalities and explore ways that, just in the realm of coaching or different healing modalities that can be difficult. I think that there is some organizations that are out there that do different certifications and things like that are designed to protect against some of those things. Do you have any other recommendations for potential clients or people who want to learn about different modalities besides what you've already shared in regards to how to move forward?
Let's see. There's a couple different things. If you've already gotten your teachings from someone else, it's okay for you to go and relearn it with another source if that original source does not feel aligned. Because sometimes you will learn a little bit more on a different level, on a deeper field, if you go learn it again. Go learn it from someone else. Even as a Reiki teacher now and a Reiki master, I still go back and I relearn. I still take the time to reread my manuals as well. And I do that teachings for myself. Don't ever limit yourself if you feel like, okay, I've already done one, I've already done two, and it just doesn't, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't align. No problem. Go and find someone who does align with you. If you want, come talk to me and I'd be happy to take you on a journey so that you can dive deeper into it. I also host the Soul Care Shop and Vibe as a wellness event. This is a place for everyone that's like in New Jersey that they can come to and speak with other healing practitioners and they can experience these modalities of sound bath, breath work, meditation, tarot reading, angelic healings, Reiki, astrology. Because if you're not really sure, I'm not going to give you a barrier. Come here, come try it, come experience it, come do yoga. I know Trish has been there with me since the beginning of this, offering Kundalini yoga. If you're curious about it, come try it. That way you can be like, okay, if I talk to this practitioner, they're going to give me a new direction. For me, I'm always open to collaborating, and I'm always going to bring in people that I feel aligned with. So if I bring them in as a source, you're more than welcome to use them as a source to connect and continue to learn. If you're somebody who's on the internet, find one person that you feel connected to, that you, not just like you said, looking at marketing and being pulled in, but you have a friend that is been on their spiritual journey for the past 3 years. They enjoy the morning tea routine. Check in with them. They probably have a suggestion of a place or a person that they learned from, or they can gear you toward. Be open to communicating with your community. If you don't have a community yet, I encourage you to go definitely jump in on like the free wellness events that are out there. Some of them are extremely high priced, and then some of them we really just want to connect people. So they're either free or very inexpensive, so that you can come in, experience it, because healing is, it's not meant to be gatekeeping. It's meant for everyone to move through and find with their whole self.
What I'm hearing you say is be curious, be open, be proactive, connect with other people, ask lots of questions, and don't take it so darn serious. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. You can relearn, you can go back in, you can invest a little bit more. That's what I'm hearing you say.
I feel like if you don't ask questions, then you sometimes walk into things and you don't know what their intentions truly are. Walk in with all the questions you have.
It also sounds like it's more about building a relationship and building that trust. If there's a practitioner that aligns with you, they're going to take that time to build that relationship with you. They're going to take the time to talk to you, to do these things that are for free and low ticket so they can build that. I also want to echo that. Yeah, there's a lot of other trainings that people do retake. I actually know a couple of my yoga counterparts that actually retook our 200-hour training, because you're learning something now from a completely different space than you were in when you first did. I think it's a new concept, because I think a lot of us were typically in our more career focused worlds, it's you do this one level and you go straight to the next. But now we're in this space where it's really more about learning and embodying and getting to the depth of the practice. When you come from it from that level, it's not about just hitting the next thing. It's about this relearning of information and having to integrate in a new way.
Yeah. So very similar to yoga and even nursing. You can do the CEUs to always go and check back in with yourself, because like you said, you're always learning at a new level, a new dimension. When you take those things and you actually allow yourself to absorb it, you learn so much more. And then there is no race to the timeline. I did 1 and 2, and then I waited a while before I decided to jump into master, because I needed to feel like it aligned with me. I needed to feel safe with it. I needed to feel comfortable. And I didn't offer it originally as a business because it wasn't the goal. The goal was for me. The goal was to just unlock myself. Eventually, it became a business, and it wasn't like we're running through the door. It was, I just wanted to create a space for people. And I think it's important that we go back and we learn everything always, because, like I said, I always go back and read. I always have these conversations in order to unlock a new level of understanding.
That's beautiful. It really comes through that your authentic self is really coming through as you speak about it. How would people be able to get in touch with you if they wanted to work with you?
If you wanted to work with me, I am located in New Jersey. I have an office over in Boonton. I host events in Boonton as well as in Rockaway. But the best way to find me is on Instagram. My Instagram page is going to have my booking link. It's going to have my Eventbrite link. And then it's also going to have where you can email me, send me messages if you're interested in virtual sessions, in person sessions, connecting on whatever level, and even collaboration. Like, those are things that I'm always open to, because I don't know everything. So I'm always open to connect another practitioner to the community in order to continue to grow that knowledge.
What is your Instagram handle?
It's DEVINE N-E, alignment, builds divine alignment. And the E is for energy.
Love that. I'm glad to hear that you offer virtual sessions because a lot of our listeners are not located locally to you. They would be able to link up and have a session. Thank you so much for your time today and sharing all of your knowledge and just your insight into the world of Reiki and even just about ways to explore different holistic modalities. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sapphire. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow, subscribe, and share with a friend. Want to learn more about a specific topic? Drop us a line on our website and we can explore it deeper with you.